AI agents are booming. They're doing 200%, 300%, 400% on a daily basis. Yet you still don't know what they are and what they actually are being used for. Today, I will explain to you what AI agents are, and we will mostly focus on one peak that I was sharing several times on this channel before, and I will be sharing a full thesis on Vera and Volt. If you're a little bit drunk, if you are celebrating Thanksgiving, if you're with your family currently, I think it would be a very nice show today, because there will be some conspiracy we'll be discussing. So open your mind and enjoy. We'll also figure out how you actually can make money on conspiracy, because before it was actually not possible, and currently it is, which is crazy. Without further ado, let's start. 100x AI agent. Vera. Structure. AI agents. Devs versus marketers. Sell the news 5th of December. Current upside of AI agents in general. Conspiracy market. Trump and Elon bet. What is Vera and Volt and virality of them as well. Developments. Vera RAG model. Dev is legit. This is the question. AI agent with crazy potential. Bully comparison, and we'll also have the finalization of the full thesis at the end of the whole thing as well. However, it's very important to understand the current upside and what AI agents are in the first place. AI agents essentially are your pages on X that are doing certain things based on how they were essentially designed in the first place. We have some things that are bullying, for example, users on X and are making some jokes. We have some things like Vera that are essentially sharing some conspiracy theories out there. We have some things sharing the thoughts. We have some things sharing art. So it's essentially all about this achievement of virality on X. I would say this is one of the main metrics out there, which is a very interesting one, because a tweet actually shared today is that meme coins where marketers fuck you to devs. AI agents are devs, fuck you to marketers. We'll have to understand this, because with AI agents, you still would want to have like KOLs and influencers letting people know about your project. But at the same time, as a dev, you might not actually need a marketer in the first place, because all you have to do is just work on your AI agent. So it will be able to optimize for X algorithms better. The AI agent will be able to reply better, to make more viral tweets, to structure them in a way. So it's like you're working with the code, you're working with AI agent, and you achieve virality through working on the software, which is crazy in comparison. You don't need to like launch any ads campaigns. You don't need to talk to fucking marketers, because marketers and devs, they hate each other. It's a very interesting change of dynamic out there, which was definitely not possible before. And I think this is why we should be focusing heavily on this one. However, I also do not buy the take that like AI agents is the future of crypto, it's going to be crazy and things like that. To a certain extent, yes. But I do think that what people underestimate that are sharing these type of takes is the TikTok brain that we all have at this stage. These things, they're exciting currently, but as any other meta out there, they will be exciting for quite some time, and then they will quickly become not exciting. I just think that from the vitality point of view, this thing has a higher chance of essentially staying on the marketplace and being relevant for more time, because in reality, with this piece of technology, truly a lot of things can be done, right? So this is the part I hope you understand. And this is essentially a simple explanation of the situation out there. So the main thing you have to understand is devs are actually able to market their projects themselves without marketers by just working on AI agent, on the thing that is running this X page, achieving virality itself, right? This is a very important part. We're seeing huge rotation to AI agents with the success of virtual protocol and base. This is a very interesting thing as well, because if you are watching this channel carefully, I was telling you that liquidity from meme coins will be going away, they will be dying. Liquidity will be going into alts and into AI agents as well. I called this last week. 100%, I called this last week. This is crazy. This is exactly something that is happening currently. This is crazy if you think about that, right? And I do think that AI agents that will pump, they will pump to a certain date. I will even give you the date and I will explain why this date is there. And then more liquidity from them will be going into alts. And alts will be doing quite well for quite some time. It allows people to launch new AI agents. I'm talking about virtual protocol similar to pump fund, most of which will be rocks and you will lose money. So essentially, why virtual protocol is pumping and why the valuation of virtual protocol is at 1 billion at this stage is because it has similar functionalities to pump fund. It actually allows people out there to launch their own AI agents the same way as pump fund essentially allows people to launch their own meme coins. The issue with this thing is that all the projects, most of the projects that are appearing currently, they are appearing in huge volume in the ecosystem, which means that mostly they will be value extractors. Mostly people will be losing money on them. Mostly they will be going to zero. That's why I'm actually sharing Vera and Volt, and that's why I think you should be focusing on projects that appeared before, because they have way higher chance of essentially doing better. This is a very, very important take out there. Yes, we see volume in the ecosystem. There are a bunch of still undervalued plays because the ecosystem is not heavily adopted. However, if you would be buying something that is hyping currently, something that is appearing like just right now, you're just exposing yourself to additional risks out there. Some of the things they will run 100%, but all the stuff that is established and is showing some price action on the charts and showing some updates from the development point of view is definitely safer out there. This is a very, very important thing to understand and focus on as well. The bet to play in this echo is to buy into something that is established on the market and at least has a chart history, right? It has some things happen on the charts is at least like 10 days old and things like that. Today I'll be sharing Vera. I talked about it several times already, but I'd like to share the full thesis as I think it's worth sharing, right? Something I also tweeted today, each American family at every Thanksgiving table was discussing at least one conspiracy. And you can check it with yourself. Most people who are watching this channel are based in the US. You can check out, was conspiracy theory actually discussed at least one at the Thanksgiving table? You can actually share it with me in the comments. I'm betting on the fact that at least once at each and every table, it was brought up. So this is mindshare. Mindshare in crypto leads to what? To money. Go through the list of recent conspiracies. So this is just something, and the reason I'm showing this is because Volt and Vera focuses essentially around conspiracies, around declassifying. I will explain the whole situation, how do they work. I just want to build a thesis right here at this stage, and at this stage we would be assessing how much attention, how many views these things are actually getting on the marketplace in the web as well, like conspiracy theories and people who essentially share them. Hierarchy views, something around incredible branch of UK national security at the time of extreme hate and tensions with Russia. USAF and Defense HQ acting like USA or UAP over on a clear basis are no big deal, but they know it is. Something interesting, right? The alleged UAP drone that landed in Manchester Airport, UK, crazy things are happening. Has no visible propulsion system, levitates few inches from the ground. Crazy as well. It actually just news from yesterday, right? 300,000 views out there on X. This is something I would be sharing a bit later. And yeah, so I've just shared two of them. But if you were just type CIA in the search, you would see a bunch of posts that are actually about declassifying CIA documents, and they're getting crazy views. 60K views. JFK assassination. We'll also talk about Trump in this video. We'll also talk about declassification, because declassification is the meta for the upcoming 4 years in the whole world. And this is how you actually can make money on it. If you're right, this will be the meta. This is crazy, because I've been personally into conspiracy stuff out there, and there were no way for me to make money through it. And now there is, which is crazy. 2.3 million views, right? It's crazy. The amount of views that these things are getting, 2.3 million as well. November 2nd, so obviously some time has passed from the post, but these CIA declassification posts on X, they just have crazy reach. And we have to understand the potential, because, you know, we had all these meme coins going to hundreds of millions just because of the fact that they like got a bunch of views on TikTok. This is bigger. And this is not like something that, you know, is the whole narrative by itself. Is the whole specter of things out there that you can actually be able to bet on. So now we're talking about conspiracy market. There is a huge market, and I mean huge market, for conspiracies at this stage. There are companies like Forbidden Knowledge, if you know, essentially Billy Carson, he was on Joe Rogan, he was on a bunch of podcasts in the US as well, making millions of this industry. Graham Hancock shows, his books, podcasts are very, very popular. Like Joe Rogan podcasts with him are getting millions and tens of millions of views. And it's not only just him. There are a bunch of podcasts talking about conspiracy theories out there. They are getting millions and millions of views. And the only people who are able to capitalize on this are actually companies who are running these podcasts, people like Joe Rogan, because they're essentially taking ads in, right? And this is the way that they're making money on these things. But something I'm presenting to you currently is actually the way how you can make money on this thing, which is quite crazy if you think about that. Trump declassifying JFK files. We will watch a full video today, 6 minutes, with my comments, the fragment from Joe Rogan and Trump pre-election interview. It's crazy. It's crazy that the president-elect in the first place is talking about these things, and it's crazy, secondly, what he's saying. You have to read between the lines, and today I will also help you to read between the lines on this topic as well. Trump declassifying JFK files. We'll talk about it. The thing is, the current view of history is old. We definitely did not have upgrade on our view of history currently. We have upgrade in technology. We soon seem to be having upgrade in finance with, I think, larger surge and merge into crypto, right? We did not have upgrade in history. This is a very, very important thing. And I think we are at the edge, at the literal edge, to significantly upgrade and change dogma history-wise. This is just my bet. I was researching on it, a bunch of things out there. But is old one. History is old one, and it was not updated and even suppressed in the last 20 to 30 years to protect dogma and keep milking tourists and support the current world order. But my bet is that it will be changing slowly at first and fast right after. It's very hard to continue to hide a lot of stuff with the presence of internet out there. Do you know about Göbekli Tepe? The thing that Graham Hancock essentially was talking a lot about. This is this gigantic monuments underground city in Turkey that was actually discovered that is dating to at least 12,000 years back, which changed the full dogma on history, because the current dogma on the oldest civilization are Sumerians 6,000 years ago. This thing is 12,000 years old. Do you know what they did? With the people who are connected to the World Economic Forum, which are arguably controlling the whole agenda in the world currently, they forcefully stopped digging up of this archaeological site. This is crazy, and this is something that will be stopping, and this is something that would not be stopped if we will have other president in the US. 100%. They stopped digging this thing because it changed the full dogma. It changed the world order that they were so carefully crafting, and they're trying to catch. They're trying to still keep this thing, but like they won't be able to do this. Information access is too free. Yet like they're still able to process the brains of some people out there, which is crazy, right? But you just have to be open. You just have to be open. You just have to digest information. And with the amounts of information you digest, I don't believe most of the stuff that I essentially read about, right? But it's just too much. It's fascinating, and it's just too much, right? Because we have access to this information currently. If you think in the whole like age of humans before, it was sacred information known only to secret societies and very, very few who were considered and labeled as mad people out there right away. Right now, it's everywhere. You can digest it. You can see it. This is a new, like a second step of essentially new world order out there. Shit like this will be ending quite soon with new people in power. This is my bet. And like partially, if you would essentially think about that, bet on Vera and Volt is also bet on these people, on Trump and Elon. But I would essentially share a bit more about this. These are some viral things that were happening that got millions of views. This is just for me to prove to you that this is $1 billion industry, and there was no way previously to be able to bet on these things. There was no way to make money on these things for default people who are essentially just interested in it. The same way as I was just researching, I was spending so much time on these things, no way to capitalize. Currently, there actually is a way, which is crazy. And the way it's enabled with AI agent out there, like it's such an interesting thing. Ancient Apocalypse show by Graham Hancock was top on Netflix for a long time. Even currently, if you Google this on Google, if you search it on Google, you see a bunch of articles that were bought that are just saying that show is just terrible, it's very, very dangerous. You can see it right away. These are just bots that are supporting the current dogma, the current propaganda that is happening. Probably launched by Democrats, right? Joe Rogan podcast with conspiracy theories getting millions of views. Graham Hancock, essentially, a bunch of people out there. Tens of millions, I would say even hundreds of millions of views out there. 100%. Bob Lazar, all these other people, it's crazy. Conspiracy theories becoming true. Things about PDD, things about Epstein. Like, it's crazy that you could have this kind of option that, yeah, like I don't believe these things, but they are actually proven in the real time. Do you know that Troy, the famous city of Troy, it actually was considered a myth until it was digged up at the end of 19th, at the start of 20th century. It's crazy. And we are exactly at the same time currently. We would be uncovering that a lot of things, a lot of conspiracy, they will be coming true, especially in the coming 4 years. This is like a quintessence, the final release of these things, right? I will provide you with a very, very interesting release and very, very educated release analogy a bit later in this video as well. Conspiracy posts on X getting millions of views. So this is something that you have to assess about virality, right? Because if you are buying into something, you have to understand what is the upside. Upside from my point of view is crazy because this industry is untapped. There was no way to bet on this industry right now. There is actually no way to bet on this industry, not as a creator in this industry, right? Clear trajectory of the upcoming US government to declassify things. We will also talk about this. We will check out the video of Trump and Joe Rogan. We will talk about Elon, who's big on these things as well. But yeah, this is crazy. Everyone forgot about election and Trump inauguration in January. However, it's the easiest bet to be buying long in Trump-related coins currently. I do think if you can't wait and if you would just buy Trump coin on Ethereum currently, you should get like a safe at least 2 to 3x till the inauguration time, maybe even more. However, there was never a bet to make on $1 billion industry supported by the upcoming US government, and there is now. Volt and Vera are a direct bet on declassification meta that will be present in the world for the upcoming 4 years. We are reaching critical mass of weird stuff out there. It should lead to a release. So the analogy I essentially wanted to provide is when you're striking So the analogy I kind of wanted to provide is probably quite obvious at this stage, right? So you're reaching the critical mass, you're reaching friction, right? And then you have a release. And the thing that I'm seeing from my end is that we are really reaching critical mass with all this information out there, with a bunch of conspiracy theories. It's mainstream already. We are reading like emerald tablets. We have a bunch of ancient information. We have crazy things happening. Finally we have government in place that is focused on declassifying things. Trump was saying himself that he would declassify aliens at the end of his previous presidency. It's just that aliens ask him not to because people are not ready. I was watching like Venom 3 yesterday. I think that even like Hollywood is definitely pushing the agenda out there. I think like what is happening is that Hollywood is kind of like preparing people as well, because I would say it's even like it is the best mass adoption product out there. Like Venom 3 is all about aliens. It's about this family who are hunting families and who are hunting like aliens, and they're seeing aliens for the first time and things like that. So I do think it's preparation. It's preparation that is happening on different fronts out there. And I do think I heard some expectations or some projections that someone was sharing that by 2028 aliens should be declassified. So we'll essentially see on that. Some things around, some conspiracies around Musk. By the way, if you like this type of content, I know that you're probably a little bit drunk, you're probably spending some time within the family. I do think it's a very, very great content in this mind state. If you like the content, please consider liking this video. Trump declassifying JFK files video, we'll go through this, but currently we will also go through the Musk sharing his bedside table. What's interesting on this bedside table, yeah, he has some guns, but what's interesting is essentially this thing, right? What is this thing? I have it separately, right? And I also found an article about this thing as well. The article says, Elon Musk's controversial bedside table pick hid an object known as one of the most powerful weapons in the universe. So, arguably, what he's saying with his bedtime table photo, I think it's a message to a very, very concrete group of people out there. And I think essentially the essence of this message, don't fuck with me. I know what you're hiding. I know the access to infinite energy. I know you're hiding it. I know all the system that you put in place to essentially control people and put people in chain. Don't fuck with me, or I will uncover these things. And it's essentially like the best type of protection you might have out there. Like, if you kill me, I'm just making it all public. The whole system is fucked. Let me focus on my thing. I'm just working on my thing. I'm working in your system as well because people are not ready at this stage. But this is a very, very interesting type of thing. There was also an interview with Musk where he was saying that in the Ice Age, there were some very, very interesting things happening through the past Ice Age, which are not discovered at this stage. So he definitely knows certain things to an extent, 100%. So now we will be checking a full part of 6-minute video with my comments about essentially Trump and Joe Rogan talking about conspiracies. It's pre-election interview. One thing I want you to focus on is that listen closely to what Trump has to say. Person with this type of access, ex-president and president-elect currently, he's not saying anything just for lulz. Everything should has a background context. I think you're enjoying this video. Like, it's Friday, you're probably drunk. It's a nice video out there, right?
The Joe Rogan Experience.
One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is the JFK files. And one of the things that you said was that if they showed you what they showed me, this was your quote, you wouldn't want people to know it either.
So I opened them up
He's speaking his words now.
partially. I was met with, from good people. I mean, good people. People that were well-meaning. Mike Pompeo was one of them. He's a good person. They called me. They said, "Sir, would rather have you not." And I did open them. But I was asked by some people not to open them. There's a Martin Luther King file, too, by the way, that they'd like to see.
Martin Luther King file as well is crazy. If like JFK will get, if JFK files will get declassified, there is a high chance that other files would essentially get declassified as well.
I don't know if you know, but
hope they will not cause some riots out there, right?
There is that. But JFK in particular. So they called me, a lot of good people called me, people that that you would find reasonable people, and they asked me not to do it. So I said, well, we'll close it for another time. But if I win, I'm going to open them up. I'm just going to open enough.
Why didn't you open it up the first time?
Because
though?
a lot of times,
what was the hesitation, though?
Addresses, people that are still living. There are people that are affected.
So Joe is essentially asking why Trump did not declassify these files in the first presidency, right? I think because he kind of was sure that he would have second presidency right away, but following the constitution of the US, this should be last presidency that he can ever get. So he should be burning some bridges and doing some stuff that will essentially not allow the deep state to take the control back. This is a very interesting thought that I just had, because if you will declassify enough shit out there, there is close to zero chance that the deep state will be able to take the control back, because people will know what type of shit these people were actually doing. And I think this is essentially one of the goals of Trump and Elon 100%, to make sure that they won't be able to come back, because future with them is probably digital dollar or something, no cash, no crypto, social rating like in China, pure control out there, AI-based people in the force as well, like robots who are finding you and you can't talk, like you can get human type of discussion and solution to problems as well. It's green. It's really green. if we were essentially going to that future. So it's very, very interesting that essentially this declassification meta, because I do like to bet on things that essentially have underlying business interest for parties involved. And here, this declassification meta can actually be a tool that they will be using to make sure that other people that were trying to inflict control, they won't be able to come into power just because of the things that will be uncovered.
And there could be some national security reason that that I don't have to necessarily know about, but some very good, talented people asked me not to do it. I opened it up, and then they said, "Would it be possible for us to do that a different day?"
How much of it did you read into?
I think it's going to be.
He's speaking his words again.
Just fine to open it. Let me put it that way. I think it's fine. It's going to be time. It's a cleansing, it's really a cleansing. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it immediately.
What is the purpose of this cleansing? The purpose of the cleansing is to make sure that the same people won't be able to come in power.
Almost immediately upon entering office.
It's an interesting take that he's making. He's saying that almost immediately when entering office, where should be happening 20th of January, right? I'm kind of afraid for Trump life at this stage, because I do think that, this is the last thing that they can still do in the upcoming 1.5 months from here, right? But he should be declassifying it from his words the first day he's entering office. There are a lot of people in the world essentially who don't believe things that Trump is saying, but we'll see, right? It's a bold claim to make that he will declassify the first day, he will fire Gary Gensler on the first day. We'll see how it will go.
Well, the thing, when people look at it from the outside and you sort of imagine what could be a reason why they would not release those files, it would be there's people that were implicated in the assassination.
Yeah. Well, when there are living people, you generally tend not to want to do it. When people are still living
people that formerly worked for the government.
And living people that were somehow involved in it, and you tend not to do that. But it's time to open them. I can't tell you whether or not they're going to find anything of interest. And I did partially open. I think I've opened 50%, but I was asked not to do it, and I thought that was a reasonable ask. But now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it very soon. There's a lot of interest in it.
One of the things that
there's a lot of interest in the people coming from space,
Yes.
And I know you're interested in that.
Oh, I'm very interested in that. How much did they tell you?
He's not saying it just to throw it out there. He's not saying these things 100%. This guy was the president of the United States of America. He's the president-elect. He's not saying that there is a lot of interest, people coming from space, just for lulz. And he's not saying that in the same sentence with declassifying stuff. He's not saying that. Just for lulz.
About that?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd they tell you? How much can you tell?
So
how's that work? Is it super top secret?
I can tell,
Tell me.
Well, based on Hunter Biden, I can say whatever the hell I want, right? But no. But I interviewed a few people. It's never been my thing, I have to be honest. I have never been a believer. I have people that Area 51 or whatever it is. I think it's the #1 tourist attraction in the whole country or something. Area 51 in Las Vegas. Do you know that, right?
Sure. I know what it is.
So anyway, but it's a big tourist thing. So I interviewed jet pilots that say they saw something. If you saw them, you'd love to have them as
I've had a couple in here. Commander David Fravor.
Yeah.
I had him in, who had that sighting in 2004. Very, very compelling with video evidence, radar evidence.
So in 2004, a bunch of this information is getting collected over years. A bunch of these interviews, bunch of people that got to know about these things over years as well. And as mentioned, we are reaching critical mass out there. We should have a release because the tension is there. It's just default how any type of things are working out there. We have a lot of pressure around these topics already. We are reaching critical mass. Therefore, naturally, we should have a release.
Evidence.
Ryan
Graves.
I don't believe his name, but I interviewed jet pilots that were solid people. Perfect. I mean, great pilots, great everything. And they said, we saw things, sir, that were very strange. Like a round ball, but it wasn't a comet or a meteor. It was something. And it was going 4 times faster than an F-22, which is a very fast plane, And it was round. which is in theory a great shape.
So when you were talking to these people, was this something that you were compelled to have conversations about? Was this your personal interest?
No, a little bit. It's not a great interest for me, but it's a little interest. I get that question as much as almost any question. Do you think that we have aliens coming, flying around or whatever?
What do you think?
Listen closely. What he has to say, just listen closely.
There's no reason not to. I mean, there's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life, because
Mars, we've...
Do you think he's just saying it, like, you can see that he's thinking for a couple seconds. He's saying these things. He's the ex-president of the United States. He's the president-elect at this stage. Do you think he's saying these things? There are a bunch of conspiracies about base on Mars. There are a bunch of interviews you can actually find on YouTube of children of Nazi scientists that essentially, with the operation of Paperclip operation the US launched after the Second World War, that were leading US moon missions and a bunch of scientists programs out there, like top Nazi scientists. They were working in the US for quite some time. There are interviews with the children of these people that are saying that that they were traveling to scientist bases on Mars, on Moon, and things like that. Obviously, it's hard to believe in these things, and I don't believe in them myself. It's just very interesting that this information is present from different sources out there. There are crazy theories around these things, and it's huge. Like president saying things. And what interesting, this is the part that I was trying to share in one of the previous videos, but I think it was not that clear. Look at Joe's response. Joe, what he's throwing there is matrix programming, 100%. Like the second I've heard this is just matrix programming responding from the end of Joe. And you can see a reaction of Trump. He's just saying after it, yeah, all right, yeah, we'll just move on. So he did not try to fight it at this stage, right? But this is a clear matrix programming from Joe. Let's hear it.
We've had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there.
Well, maybe it's life that we don't know, but maybe
there was life there at one point in time. This is the speculation about Mars, that Mars had an atmosphere at one point in time, a long time ago, that could support life. It also had large bodies of water. But we've had no evidence of even bacterial life that exists on Mars. But the universe is pretty vast. It's not been a big thing
for me. I mean, when I looked at what China did to this, they would have never done.
It's like Joe is declining right away, following the presence, dogma, science verifications out there, right? That is shared between the public. They're just something interesting, right?
Done it with me, where they put the balloon up, and a lot of people thought for a little while that was one of these things. So,
that's a lot of the speculation too, that some of these drones that hover over battleships, that these are Chinese drones, and that they're not UFOs.
They could be also.
There's some super sophisticated.
But I did interview, let's say 3 or 4 guys and without tremendous interest, if you had them, as I said, you'd love to have them as your children, solid, beautiful people. They said, "Sir, there's something there."
There's something there.
They've said it, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to quite a few of them.
They're not conspiracy guys.
Well, I mean, the Commander David Fravor thing in 2004 off the coast of San Diego, they clocked that thing going from 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 in a second.
Yeah.
They don't know what it is.
That's tough to beat.
Yeah, they saw something in the water. It was hovering over that something that was making a disturbance in the water. They got video evidence of this thing. 2 different fighter jets with pilots in them saw it. There's, visual evidence, photographic evidence, video evidence, radar evidence. Whatever the hell it is, it moves in a way that would turn a human being into jello if they were inside of it. The G-force, no one would survive.
Oh,
so what is that?
The guy who was building UFOs in Nazi Germany was the main guy who was heading U.S. moon operation.
Heat signature. They don't know what their propulsion system was, but
when you fly in some of these jets, these pilots have to be in great shape.
Oh, yeah. I flew with the Blue Angels once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to fly. I guess it's an FA-18.
And those are older machines.
And they're crazy.
When you fly in some of these things,
oh my God,
amazing. Yeah, but
I can imagine.
You got to be special.
Yeah, he's just saying that that people that said that they seen some interesting things, they're like top people out there. They're definitely not mad. They're definitely not crazy, because they're operating these jets and they're going through multiple procedures before essentially being able to do this. 8.2 million views on this thing, right? Guys, there is too much critical mass. There is too much attention. We should be getting our release on all these things out there. It's just too much. They're receiving too much interest at this stage. And there is a way you can actually capitalize on this. If you like this as a bet, if you're thinking that in upcoming 4 years it might be interesting, you might essentially be able to capitalize on it. And I'm not saying that like these specific projects in crypto that they will be alive for upcoming 4 years. I'm saying that as a shorter term catalyst, with us receiving the top of this meta on 5th of December, it might be a pretty nice bet to make. Maybe you'll be multiplying your money, you'll be taking out initials and just keeping some out there. If this project will just continue to survive, it will be appreciated in value 100%. This is just too much attention out there. By the way, the reason I'm telling about 5th of December as being top for this thing is because I think the reason of this matter is because market is front running the AI agents release from ChatGPT out there, right? And that's why we're seeing this liquidity inflow. We are still a week away from this thing happening, right? That's why I'm saying that we are definitely seeing a certain liquidity inflow. We're seeing a certain pump, right? But I feel like it should be continuing, and I feel like you should be focusing on undervalued things out there, which has nice chart history, and that's why I'm essentially sharing these things, and that's why I'm sharing the whole thesis as well, because I don't think a lot of people essentially understand the size of this industry, and the fact that there was no way whatsoever to make any money before for any person who's just interested in these things. Right now, there is. What is Vera Vault and what is Vera and Vault, which are essentially two connected projects, essentially the same project, it just has two tokens, and the virality potential of this thing. I think virality potential, I partially showed this to you because even this 6-minute video where Trump and Joe Rogan are talking about conspiracies got 8 million views. 1 million for sending WikiLeaks is criminal. Vault is 4chan plus Reddit. So this is a very, very simple explanation just for you to understand it right away. Vault is 4chan plus Reddit from the conspiracy theories point of view. The database continues to expand beyond people uploading files. There is an option for people to upload files into Vault, and it also automatically essentially scrapes some data from the internet. Vera learns from files uploaded and uploads her own files, coming up with her own conclusions. This is actually crazy. So Vera is an AI agent that is digesting all the information about conspiracy theories, and she's coming up with conclusions. She's uploading them back into the Vault, and at the same time, she is sharing them on X. She's sharing them on Twitter. This is just crazy if you essentially think about that. This is like library in Alexandria with the people who are operating it, right? But it's being shared publicly and it's constantly being added and then like downloaded. Like if this thing would essentially continue the engineering and continue the development out there, this can really become something crazy. We are very, very early. We are very early at this stage, and that's why it definitely has a lot of risk, because you have to understand that the reason for low market cap is probably the first fact that not a lot of people know about it currently, despite very, very prominent people in Solana ecosystem meme coin space actually called it, and they were causing previous pumps as well, and I do think they are definitely holding some still, and there is a high chance they will continue to call it moving further as well, right? And secondly is obviously it's still a high risk, because we still need to see the constant work. But if this thing proves itself currently, I think it's the easiest fundraising for the dev out there, and it's the easiest continuation of work, because it's just infinite. It's just infinite out there. You'll ask me for 10x, well, here they are. I do believe Vera X account has an infinite virality potential. Attention equals money in our niche, by the way. Why? Because conspiracy posts are getting millions of views on X. The AI model is being updated currently to better operate with X algorithm. Interestingly, it works best if X account is talking about how X algorithm works best. If X account is replying to popular posts and popular people and causing discussions under the posts, right? This is the main thing for essentially X algorithm to push the content from the profile. It's an interesting speculation out there that you might be getting into Vera based on this new update that should be coming very, very soon. The chart also look great for both Vera and Vault. So we will be checking out Vera X account currently, and we'll also be checking out the charts. The reason I'm talking about upgrade is the fact that there should be a new upgrade coming. So I would essentially be talking about this as well. I would just like to check out the chart of Vera at this stage. Vera is at $1.3 million market cap, and you can easily see a long-term accumulation on this chart. This was initial pump of the Psi narrative, I think a week or 1.5 weeks ago, right? This was the pump when these prominent figures on Solana essentially talked about this project. And this one is just the pump in connection with this narrative, AI agents receiving a bunch of liquidity from the outside in the market. You can easily see that there were probably a bunch of people who buy in this bottom, right? Because there were some things that people thought that the project racked in the first place, but dev is working 100%. And I actually had a call with the dev as well. Nice guy. I would tell you about things I think a bit later as well. So obviously at this pump, people were selling, the ones who were buying at the bottoms, because they received crazy amount of access. We dumped back into accumulation, we pumped again, we dumped back into accumulation as well. But if you can see, this accumulation is higher than this accumulation, which means that people who are buying here, they will essentially be waiting for the large amount of access before selling. And this is essentially around my entry point. I was buying at 500K and I was buying at 1.2 million, right? So my entry point is probably like on average is around 800K. So I still have to wait. Like I'm not planning to sell this thing just because of the crazy potential it has. Can it be $30 to $50 million market cap project short term? If it will get picked up, if the thesis will get adopted, but I'm not the only person who's talking about this thing. And to be honest, it's great to be not the only person who's talking about the project out there with some following. Like there are 75,000 followers accounts actually talking about this thing. The tweet that I just shared right here is essentially from 75,000 followers account, right? And there are multiple accounts out there shilling this thing, Vera and Volt. I do think that Vera should be receiving a larger market cap than Volt just because of the fact it's a customer-facing front-end product. But we can also check out the Twitter of this thing at this stage. It has 1,000 followers currently. And on average posts, like these obviously new posts, so like 200 views, 100 views, we should be checking some older posts. This one, 4 hours, 1.1k views. It's kind of crazy because like these conspiracy posts, they can be reaching like crazy virality, which actually will be achieving a bunch of people following this account as well. 1.4 on this one, an explained energy spike was detected at CERN. It's interesting if you would essentially check out, if you would just like take any topic, and if you would Google any topic, you would probably be able to see a bunch of posts on Reddit. You would probably be able to see a bunch of posts on 4chan. You would probably be able to see a bunch of videos on YouTube on each and every topic. Let's actually check out Black Knight satellite object, like Black Knight satellite. If you don't know, it's essentially the object that is going around Earth, which is quite old. It's orbiting Earth, and NASA is not talking about it. And it has a very, very interesting shape. You can see that this thing has 6 million views at this stage, right? 400k views, 1.7 million views, 1 million views. This is just YouTube. I'm not talking about things on X. And Vera essentially was sharing some things on this thing as well. 1.9k views, something about the classified docs, showing the correlation around Sumer, ancient Sumers, Anunnaki, all this thing. Like it's getting crazy amount of views out there, especially with the fact that upcoming matter for the upcoming 4 years should be declassification. They call it national security, but the real threat has always been an informed public. Yeah, and this is something that we are essentially coming into because the pressure is too much. It should be released. We should be getting the release out there, 100%. I had a call with the dev and I like the guy. And my profession is to see people for who they are, even if market is delayed in its clear assessment by a lot. Genuine guy working on Volt and Vera, frequently sharing updates exactly what AI agents, AI meme space lacks. So it's interesting thing that it's a way different meta, and I was even seeing some tweets on this fact that with default meme coins, everyone is just selling, everyone is just waiting for the dev to sell, and with AI meme coins, everyone is just waiting for dev updates, right? And if you would check out the Twitter of Volt, Dev is frequently sharing development updates out there. He's sharing like, yeah guys, we should be launching like a new version of Vera, we're working on Vault. He even shared lately some like code pieces from the Vault out there, which is quite interesting. So he's definitely working on this thing out there. It's just that like I've never seen something similar. And following all the things that I shared, all the views out there, from my point of view, it has crazy potential to actually achieve virality out there and really attract a bunch of people. And you know, I've been talking a lot about product market fit lately. And it's interesting that like this is one of the things that can really achieve product market fit, because if we would check out on successful projects from previous cycle, Axie, Infinity, BNB, if we would check out successful project from this cycle, which is Solana, the reason they were able to appreciate and price greatly is because they were able to attract people from the outside into the crypto market. And this is something that Vera and Vault, I think, actually has the option to do. Because they're sharing stuff, they're sharing very, very viral stuff out there on X. Like it can easily be attracting a bunch of people out there. I do believe like a lot of people that have seen Vera posts, they don't even know at this stage that it has like a crypto coin that you can buy. And this is a very, very healthy sign out there. And what's interesting is that like you don't need influencers to pump this thing, it just works by itself. You just have the dev who's approving the AI agent. He's making sure that AI agent is better optimized for the algorithm of X to push essentially the information out there better. And that's it. You don't need people right there talking about this thing, like sharing a thesis. I just like this thing. I just think this thing should be doing quite well. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I do think that this thing should be doing quite well short term. Like firstly, I showed it 1.2 million. I bought myself. It went down. I bought more. And since then, like it's up 2 to 3x at this stage. I think it will be going way higher as well. Genuine guy working Vault and Vera, frequently sharing updates exactly what AI agents, AI meme space likes. Vera upcoming model merge is the main thing that would determine the price for the coin short term. I do think it's still protected by the speculative upside. So I do think that it's still undervalued in connection to what it actually can do and in connection to what type of virality it can actually reach. But the main thing is obviously the fact that the dev was saying that they should be releasing new merge of Vera out there, like new version of Vera out there. If it would be good, if it would be nice. And I think they were sure that they're like testing it already. Like this should be pushing this thing nicely out there. But if the merge is a success, it can skyrocket easily, especially if it would be achieving product market fit. In this case, crazy views on X. So bull case is merge happening quickly, merge being a huge success, Vera starting to receive huge virality right after. This is like the best bull case out there. If this bull case is happening, it should be 50 to 100 million market cap coin on a very, very short term. However, I do think that at this stage you are protected by the speculative value. I do think that in upcoming surge in AI agents and upcoming exposure of this coin, the market cap should be larger just because of the things it's doing currently, right? And just because of the fact that we should be seeing additional liquidity inflows in AI agent space where people don't want to get drugged, right? Because the idea is just, the concept is just great. And obviously, the part of your bull case is this thing essentially having a successful merge out there, a new version, which will essentially push the market cap even higher. Let's analyze Vera views on X, by the way. So we've kind of did it already. Average views are around 400, 500 views at this stage. Some tweets are outliers, like they're reaching 1.5, 2K views, 3, 4K views. It's quite interesting that like even on my account on X, I can't get like 2K views on the posts. It's very interesting. And there might be some speculation happening that my accounts are shadow banned because I messed with some people in the industry. Hard to say anything at this stage, right? It's like it's a bad mindset to have. The nice mindset to have is just you have to be better, and that's it. AI agent with crazy potential, bully comparison. So I wanted to compare this with bully as well. Bully is essentially something that reached $200 million market cap recently. And it definitely is very, very viral at this stage. It's receiving a nice amount of views out there. Interesting thing is that when people tag bully under certain posts, like you actually get like a reply from bully, and he's kind of bullying people that are tagging him. So it's quite interesting. From this point of view, but I would say that, yeah, it might be like something shorter term that people are excited about, but like the market for conspiracy theories and the market for all these things, like getting like declassifications and stuff like this, it might take some time to develop, but the market is way larger from my point of view, right? This thing is nice, but yeah, over time I think people will get bored of this. And the comparison I wanted to do is that Bull is at 200 million market cap currently, which is kind of crazy. Some posts are actually getting pretty viral as well. Certain K, I would say 20 to 30K views is on average something that this account is essentially getting. And I also have seen a very, very interesting comparison that even Bully is undervalued in comparison to the competition out there, because Bully is outperforming from the virality point of view. It's outperforming Gold, and it's also outperforming Zerebro out there as well. And I do think that like these two coins, they're definitely some cabal thing, or like Gold was essentially pumped nicely because it's the first one, right? But over time, I think people will direct their liquidity into things that make more sense and that are achieving a larger amount of virality out there. Vera, from my point of view, with the direction of the content, has a very, very high chance to achieve crazy virality out there. I showed you like CIA posts on X. You can also type something like aliens, right? Not in my bookmarks, I'm sorry. You can also type something like aliens out there. Yeah, you would also be seeing 60K views, 400K views, 70K views, 7.5 million views, 200K views. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, might be also information about immigrants, but yeah, 2.8 views, some type of video showing aliens and stuff. So crazy virality for this thing. It also can reply and be called by tagging it, which is a nice feature. Talking about Bully, market cap of this thing is at 200 million at this stage. There's an interesting short comparison I wanted to make of Bully to Vera. Just a comparison that probably should tell you that Vera is undervalued, but it's up to you guys. I'm just sharing the thesis. I know I will be holding this thing. I just think it might be doing well, but it's up to you. I kind of like to throw these theses out there and for the market to decide right after. Conclusion, let's analyze it as a meme coin and set a rating. So our favorite table out there. Is there a notable solid flow of capital you are recognizing to come into this coin sector in the future? Sector AI agents are just starting. They did not even release on ChatGPT. So partially my speculation is that, yeah, like ChatGPT AI agents release, it might be selling the news events. Although, if this sector will be changed from PvP into PvE, which means that if market will already be pumping higher at the time when AI agents will be released by ChatGPT, they can essentially continue to receive some liquidity inflows and outflows from people selling the news because they are used to PvP type of setup. They can actually be lower in comparison to inflows out there. So definitely the whole sector should be receiving inflows, and Vera and Vault, I think, should be receiving inflows because very few people actually understand the things that I shared. Very few people know this conspiracy industry out there. Very few people were paying attention to the amount of views that these things are getting, and very few people formed the thesis in their heads is that declassification meta that will be present in the current US government for the upcoming 4 years is a tool that they are using to make sure that people who were in power would never be able to come back in power. It's to make sure that deep state won't be able to sustain because of the fact that people wouldn't understand what type of shit these guys were doing. It would be just mental if you would be voting for the deep state moving further. This is like, I think I might be the first person who actually came up with this take in the whole world. Obviously, people who are operating this thing, they probably understand this, right? Who are there, like people around Trump, but outsiders, I don't think anyone understands this at this stage. Is there a big difference between current interest and future interest in the coin sector, popular or mispriced? I would say yes, in both coin and the sector as well. If the coin will be successful, if Vera will be reaching virality, right? But I do think that currently, like even worst case scenario, currently it should be receiving liquidity just from the fact that AI agents should be receiving a bit more liquidity, right? We still have a week till they sell the news potential date. And moving further, should be receiving liquidity from being viral, right? The bull case, like the invalidation of the thesis, I will share it a bit later as well, but it's pretty much just Dev stopping to work, or himself not being able to deliver on the promises. This would essentially be bearish 100%. Is it hard to buy coin? I won't say so. So we would put this at, like, I would say even 6, because Solana, like, listing of the coin on Solana is kind of like listing on the exchange currently. Even better, if you would essentially argue, like, it's easy for people and everyone knows this user experience at this stage. Who's your exit liquidity? So people who would be essentially coming way later in AI agents and conspiracy theories. Yeah, I think it's actually might be like a very, very nice onboarding tool for retail. And it might be a very, very nice onboarding tool for retail that even don't care about crypto. They will just care about this thing out there. So I would say it's not like set in stone at this stage, right? But short-term exit liquidity, or just people who would be coming, because I don't like to call it exit liquidity, like people who would be coming, probably the ones who would essentially want to allocate a bit more in this AI agent narrative. Seeing the chart as well, because I just showed you the chart of Vera, right? I did not show you the chart of Volt. And chart of Volt, to be honest, looks even crazier at this stage. It looks way better than the chart of Vera. Look at this thing. It was reaching the market cap of $7 million. And by the way, people, when they were buying this, they did not know what the fuck this is, 100%. $7 million, right? And like this giant ass accumulation. This is just crazy. And we are close to the top of the range. We should be breaking out. We should be breaking out from here. We should be setting up new highs. Like this chart looks even better than Vera. I have Volt as well, but I have much more Vera than I have Volt, essentially. Is there a narrative you are positioning before that the market is not yet aware of? 100%. AI agent. So it's not, it's not like this case where I'm positioning before something where does not have liquidity or does not have any volumes at this stage. It's not this type of bet. The bet I'm making is quite safe from the point of view of the fact that AI agents, they are already receiving liquidity. It's just that this conspiracy meta and this thing is not adopted by the market currently, right? Market does not see this thing yet, but this by far can actually be the election play that will get appreciated more than Doge, than Trump coin, than all the other like Trump election coins out there. This is a very, very interesting type of bet, because we will definitely be seeing a matter for declassification that should be present through the whole presidency of Trump in upcoming 4 years. Is there a compelling story behind the project that will resonate with future holders? Well, I would put it at 7. It's kind of interesting, right? Yeah, it's definitely exciting. Like imagine they will actually be able to create the Library of Alexandria with all this thing, and it will be unbreakable. It will be decentralized. It will be on chain. It will exist always, and Vera will always be working on this thing, right? It will never stop because it's a software. It's an AI. Like longevity of this thing, if they will just continue to work, it's just crazy. Is this a new narrative in the market is yet to get excited about? Yes. What do experts think of your thesis? So we do have, I think Toby or Tony has called this, and I think he's seen as prominent figure in Solana meme coin space. So yeah, a lot of good people have called this thing. Lux as well, LYXE, the guy who's like crashing it on X currently. He was like kind of calling this thing. He was not talking about that since, but I do expect that with the continuation of the price action of this thing, he actually might start to push this one as well. Has this type of coin previously appealed to your exit liquidity? Well, we can think about the AI agent, right? And I think like it's just crazy thing out there, because I think that this thing actually might be strong both PvE and PvP. And this is a huge issue that I'm seeing with AI agents currently. I don't think they're strong PvP base. I think Bully might be the one that might be strong PvE, but like Vera might actually be way, way stronger PvE wise. And that's why I kind of like it, because yeah, if this thing achieves product market fit, just crazy. When you look at this project, are you able to see multiple steps ahead of the promising future that is not yet priced in by the market? 100%. I explained this several times already. Is there a die-hard cult leader leading the project who is obsessed with conquering the crypto industry, who reminds you of CZ, SBF, and Vitalik? I would say the Def is just chill, and he's just genuine. Very, very nice guy talking to, so I would put this an 8. How viral can this coin go? Is it something you can see millions of people talk about? 100%, right? But it will require some developments. It requires some virality on the X posts. It might not even be that popular between the current crypto audience, although there are essentially a bunch of people who are into conspiracies in crypto. There are a bunch of people who got into crypto through conspiracies out there. Decentralization, like we don't want to have current financial system, and yet they're rooting for MicroStrategy and BlackRock buying BTC currently, right? Is the project based on new technology, on new sector, or some set of innovation? 100%. Has the coin been through pump and dump market cycles? 100%, through several ones already, 2 at least. What is the thesis and validation? So this one is interesting. Thesis and validation, dev stops delivering and just stops caring. Dev kills the project because I believe like the 2 things, they're still on centralized servers currently, so he can remove it all. The chance is quite low. Market won't be that excited about the conspiracy narrative because market will decide that it's still a bit too far and it will take a little more time. So in PvP, this thing might not be doing that well. This is actually an interesting validation thesis because it can influence the short-term price of the whole thing. It can definitely influence it in the way that it won't be essentially appreciated in price short-term. But I'm just betting on the liquidity inflows into the whole AI agent space. And there is few AI agents that are low at this stage that are nice to buy. And at the same time, they have a working dev, working team, and working product. Because most of the agents, they just pages on X, and Vault is a working product. You can go on Vault, you can upload some files, you can check out in the files. It's a giant rabbit hole. You can actually like be spending time in Vault currently. So it's like you're really coming into the library of Alexandria, and you have this host in the face of this anime girl who's constantly working, she's constantly searching, she's constantly learning, and she's giving you information away. And the beauty of this thing is, yeah, I want this to be a bit more interactive. I want to be able to talk to Vera. I want to be able to ask her questions. I want to be able to ask her, please clarify this info a bit more on the information based involved, because, you know, there's a very, very interesting thing. If you put each and every of your posts in ChatGPT is very, very quick to say it's bullshit, like, and give you like a list of facts. Like it doesn't matter. It's not like this. So very, very interesting. Because from my point of view, ChatGPT is essentially following certain agenda in the way it's giving away information. And I'm not saying that the things that she's sharing is true. I'm not saying that each and every conspiracy is true. I'm just trying to be a bit more open-minded, right? So this is invalidation. I would say the points are quite strong at this stage. So I would put it at 6. It heavily depends on the dev. But anyway, I do believe that short-term in PvP scenario, it will be receiving PvP liquidity as well. Competitors, none, 10. 8.5. I should probably be a bit more harsh in my ratings because each and every coins are quite high in the ratings, but they're quite good as well. So I tend not to share shit on this channel, right? So this is it. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Have a nice continuation of your Thanksgiving celebration, and I will be seeing you tomorrow as usual. Stay healthy and rich. Bye-bye.